back to another episode of Landing the Deal podcast. I'm your host, Miss Derby, aka the Land Queen. And on today's episode, we have a special guest joining us from Brooklyn, New York. She is an expert at leveraging credit, business funding, and guess what? She's a teacher just like me. I'm talking about no one other than my girl, Shedah3's.
What's up, Derby?
Okay, what's up? What's up?
No, that was good.
What's up, Derby?
What's up? What's up? Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me in the land pad.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. I know that with this podcast interview, we're going to be able to dive in to this amazing conversation on leveraging your credit, leveraging business funding, all of the things. I think this is a very untapped area for entrepreneurs. Okay, so let's talk about this. I want to dive into kind of like your story as far as how you got into entrepreneurship and what you're doing now as a teacher.
How I got started?
Yeah.
All right, so I think I really got started in the womb. I'm being serious because, all right, no pun intended, but my family's really Jamaican. Like, I'm hella Jamaican. Mm-hmm. And Jamaicans, we don't keep just one job, but we always got some kind of side, something going on. So I've always thought to myself, I always knew that there was, even when I worked in college and I had my job during grad school, I was selling sneakers on the side, right? And I figured out how to tap into that hustle. And that was, I was making twice my salary, my weekly check on weekends. I just didn't know how to funnel that into an investment at that age. So I was blowing it on parties and whatever I wanted to, but I had a side business and it wasn't like a hustle because I had repeat customers, I had shipping orders, I had everything. I had it laid out and I had marketing. I had supply and demand. So I want to say I started it in college, but I really started to tap into it once I needed to actually leverage my credit and I couldn't. And then it was like, why can't I leverage my credit? Learn how to do it. It became a problem that I thought was contagious because now I'm asking people about their credit and everybody having the same problem as me. I'm looking around. I'm like, oh. I started helping one person, next person. And it became a full-fledged business.
Okay, so that's nice. I definitely agree because I had the same background as far as being an entrepreneur, being a hustler, as well as working my 9 to 5. So tell me, like, are you still teaching? If you are, why are you still teaching? Because I want to. Why are you teaching, girl?
I am still teaching. It's my 8th year coming up September. I love teaching. Like, I want to say I get the thrill and I still have the passion for teaching children. I'm in middle school, so that age group.
Middle school?
Yeah. You know how you were in middle school.
I saw little elementary kiddos and the middle schoolers are just, whoo.
Nah, they booger fret snots. It's okay, emotional. They stink one day. They love you one day. They hate you the next day. They stomping off. You watching them like, why am I still here? But I love it. I love all of it. And that age, you get to intrigue them. Like, you get to plant little seeds. You don't see it till later, but they always remember. So I'm in my 8th year. I don't know when I'm gonna retire. I know I won't go past 10.
Yeah.
I gave myself a goal a long time ago. I won't go past 10, so.
Have you been able to, being that you're a teacher, like kind of influence the other kiddos into maybe thinking about entrepreneur?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in my classroom, your behavior is credit score.
I like that.
So if you are 600, 550, don't talk to me. I don't associate with you. You're on my crap list, essentially. They can't stand it. I don't want to be a 500. Well, your homework was late.
Yeah.
You got collections out the butt. Like, what's going on? So serious. I'm like, where my 800s at? Me, they be so excited.
Yeah.
So that's how I treat them. Bad credit score, good credit score, excellent. So now they know what that conversation is like. They know exactly what that means. Like, oh, I got a 600. This is not good. I need to fix.
Yeah.
I need to fix this. And just other financial literacy terms I use around them because exposure is everything. We always say like, oh, I wish I learned it in school, but if your teacher don't know it to teach it to you, how are you supposed to learn it?
Yeah.
It's not a part of the curriculum. It's always going to be add on by the educator that you're in front of. So I teach them everything that I wish I knew. I splat it right there in the math. Because I teach math too, which is the best subject in the world. Best subject in the world. Don't turn to my.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you been able to bring some of your kiddos like on a little field trip to watch you speak? Can you talk about that?
So I had an event in Brooklyn, BK, called a Play for Play, where I literally have entrepreneurs in a ring and it's a versus setup. So they're going back and forth on who's the best in their specific subject or category or industry. And I had my kids working at that event. So they were in the front giving people their badges, checking people in. They were engaged in, the marketing. They were engaged in making sure that people had a good time, because they need to see adults who are about their business and in different businesses outside of just working a 9-to-5 job. They need to see that it's attainable. So how else do you let them to see it? Let them be exposed to it.
Yeah.
So one of my students, she actually does nails now. She has a nail, she does nails. She's a 13-year-old unlicensed nail tech. That's my name for her. And she's been doing nails for the past 2 years. She's self-taught. She don't market that much online, but she gets her clients from online. So who I had her sit down with, one of my friends who's a dope digital marketer, and he's like, this whole weekend you should be doing this, that, and the third. Next thing I know, an hour later, she had her reel made.
Wow.
From her weekend, because exposure is everything.
Yeah. Do you ever see any backlash being that you're in the school system, but also kind of being an entrepreneur, kind of being a rebel to, being an entrepreneur and not like a 9-to-5 worker, how they structure, school to be?
You mean like as far as entrepreneurship and 9-to-5?
Do you have any backlash from like other teachers and how you?
Oh, they could backlash all that. I don't care. I'm the most rebellious teacher in the school.
Yeah,
period. I'm like, they already know. If I have a break, I'm on a business call. Don't talk to me. We're not socializing. I got things to do. And my students know this too. Like, oh, okay, Miss Henrique's probably got business to do. If I got this headphone in, all right, give me 2 minutes. All right, what you need? Don't play with my time. But as far as like merging both, I know some of them, they wish. Some of them are coming to me. As a matter of fact, I had a couple of my teachers, they have duplexes or like extra room. They set up their Airbnb. I taught them how to do it.
Nice.
And I'm not saying I'm at Airbnb, but I'm like, hey, here's resources. Go and make extra income, because you always need money outside your check. Like, you're not going to tell me that you're going to say no to an extra $2K a month.
Yeah, I'm asking you that because I remember when I was in the school system myself, I remember like just talking about things outside of what's being taught as far as the curriculum goes.
Oh.
I used to get like, the administrators would pull me and be like, you can't talk about this. Like, you can't talk about these specific topics. So do you ever face that at all?
No.
Wow.
And I integrate it. So here's the thing though, with math, all the money skills math that you're going to learn, you learn in middle school. They just don't teach it and format it in a way that you can present it. Because even how to calculate your credit line utilization, that's percentage problems. I teach that specifically. And then I take the credit cards out and make them do it. I'll print out bank statements and make them do it, because everything has to make sense. You only say that school is stupid or school don't make sense because you don't know how it applies to your everyday life. But middle school math, unit rates, percentages, equations, all of that stuff equates to constant of proportionality. If you sell a digital product for $27, if you sell 10 of them, you make $270. That's a formula you learn in 7th grade.
Yeah.
We just know it as like a regular math, but there's a concept to it. So it's like all the stuff that you think that is, oh, I didn't learn it. You just didn't learn it in a way that it made sense and it applied to, you know what I'm saying, everyday life. But I teach that, and if they say I can't do it, I'm done. Like, I will be done that day. Tell me I can't teach my kids money math, that's the day I'm done.
Yeah. Girl, that's what I was facing, girl. I'm telling you, the administrators hated me.
I could see why you was out, because I wish my admin would say, oh, don't teach that.
Yeah. They're like, follow the curriculum. You can't go outside of that.
Oh, okay.
And customize or anything.
Oh, no, okay.
That's why Florida's lit.
Have a good day.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk about credit, because I
Let's
feel
talk about
like, because, oh my gosh, when I got into entrepreneurship, my credit was so bad. Like, it was like a 4 or 5.
See, that's a bad behavior.
Yeah, I know. It was bad. Girl, it was so bad. And I didn't realize how important credit was when I needed to actually use it. Like, buy a car, buy a house, like needing to leverage my credit. And I didn't realize how much money you're going to essentially spend because
of bad credit.
I'm telling you. So let's talk about that and like the literacy behind it. Like,
bad credit is very expensive. So what happens is, I know this for a fact, is because we don't have these conversations early on. So you 18 years old, you go to college or whatever step you are, and they start throwing credit cards at you, and you think, I got it, I'm gonna spend it, right? YOLO was the worst thing that ever happened to our community. So now you got somebody who got a $2,000 credit card limit, they're blowing the bag, not realizing you have to pay this back every month. And to be honest, you need to not have your credit cards reporting as high as you are, having them maxed out all the time, and you proud of it. I maxed out my card, girl.
yeah,
No, that is horrible. That is hard. That should not be something that
you brag about.
is a line, you know what I'm saying? That's like a punchline. Like, no. So the problem is essentially that we don't actually learn how to handle our credit in the beginning. And then now you 25, 26, 27, and now you want to use your credit, but when you was 18 through 21, you wrecked it.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have good money management skills. And we don't have that conversations in the house either. Like, money's like taboo. I don't know.
What kind of advice do you have for someone who's like 18, 19, or just even just young listening to this and hasn't been able to really use their credit yet, but wants to eventually use it like in the future when they find something they want to use
All right,
it for?
come in here. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I told my 18, 19, and 20-year-old nephew who's now 21. Actually, he's 23. So what you want to do is you want to get a secure credit card or get a low balance credit card. You can secure the card with your own money. As far as saying, I want $1,000 limit, I'm going to give this bank $1,000 and he'll give me $1,000 credit card. You want to make sure that that credit card is going to unsecure, meaning that it's going to graduate to an unsecure line. They will give you back your $1,000 and now you have started a good relationship with a bank. You want to make sure that you only spend the money that you have in cash. If you don't have it in cash, don't swipe that card. Don't let people bully you, because the friends you have between 18 and 21, you're not going to have when you're 30. And that's when you're really going to be stressed out.
Facts.
All right? That's my advice. And that's what I gave my nephews. And guess what? They started with a $200 credit card. One started with a $1,000 credit card. And now they got over $30,000 in credit at 18, 19, and 21. And they don't spend more than they can afford. Because the last thing you want to do is ruin your future over having fun.
Yes. That's a gem. Y'all heard her? Okay. Make sure you take action on that, because that's something that I did right when I started college, and at 18 years old, they encourage you to pull out student loans and all those things, and you don't even know what you want to really do.
I'm controversial with that.
Girl,
I say some spicy stuff. I don't think college is for everybody, but that's taboo.
It's not. It's not for everybody. And I feel like a lot of people, pressure the youth to jump into entrepreneurship or into a 9-to-5 or into college, and you don't even know what you want to do yet. So I think for me personally, if I would have done this all over again with the knowledge that I know, I would have built my knowledge and my skill set as far as like what I want to do before I just jumped into being into college.
So for me, I wouldn't reset my timeline too much, only because I didn't pay for college. So my whole thing is I'm always going to use OPM. Like, people don't get into that mentality.
People's money, rather.
I'm going to always use other people's
Yes.
money. Like, I was like that from when I was 12. I told my mom at 12 years old, Ma, you're not going to pay for college. I saw one of my friends, she got a full ride to James Madison. That's a $40,000 a year school. She got all 4 years and her grad school paid for it. I said, Ma, you're not paying for college. And guess what she didn't do? I signed my scholarship on my 18th birthday.
Wow.
She didn't pay for college. So if I'm using other people's money to fund my life, that's how it's going to work. And I don't mean like OPM and I got to pay it back. I ain't have to pay them back. So I got that scholarship. Now I played basketball, but I still figured out a way to get the money to pay for what I know I needed to get. So now I got that. I got my undergrad degree. Now I'm on campus. A lot of people go to college and they sit in their room, or they known as the idiot on campus, or they known as they play around. Nah, I wanted you to know me on campus. So everybody knew me on campus, not just for basketball, but anytime they had a speaking event for basketball, guess who raised their hand? Me. I want to go talk at this school, at this event. So all the VPs knew me. Financial aid knew me. Me and the president of the school were cool. Rest in peace, Dr. Cobb. Like, I was cool with a lot of people in that school. So when I graduated and they say, Shedah, you going overseas? I'm like, nah, my body's just starting to feel normal. They said, matter of fact, Jeanine Bus in the financial, she said, go get your grad school degree now. I said, what you mean? She said, do it now. Don't take a break. You're already here. Get it done. I said, okay. She said, matter of fact, you know who got an opening? Dr. Clark. I'm going to call her right now. Calls her. I got an interview in a week. I overslept on the interview because I was working overnight shifts and I didn't realize that my times was off and I overslept. They called me, scheduled for the next day, still got the job. Why? Jeanine put in a good word. Why? I networked while I was in college. Everybody knew me.
Yeah. So
Everybody.
networking is key.
Networking is key. If I had to go back and say it to anybody, I'm like, yo, don't sit there and be quiet, because closed mouth don't get fed. So you better learn. If you starting over, learn how to network, learn how to talk to people, learn how to present yourself, because sometimes it's really not what you know, it's who you know and who can make that happen for you. Because if Jeanine didn't know, if she didn't know, she's like, you done, you still playing? I was like, nah, she said. And she didn't give me that advice right then and there, I wouldn't have had my master's. Zero.
That's awesome. Well, I know that networking is definitely something that's extremely vital
Yeah.
for the world that we're in, especially now. Now, let me ask you this. Being that you're an expert in business funding, I want to dive to that a little bit. So tell us about like business funding, what things you've been able to do with that.
Man, business funding changed everything. Once I realized, like, all right, my good credit, so I fixed my credit, right, 780, chilling. I haven't been able to touch the 800s, but I ain't stressing too much because the rates is the same. But I got that going. I went ahead and leveraged business funding. Now, I'm going to tell you, I did mess up in the beginning. I took a loss. I'm not going to sit here and say it's all sweet, because it's a lie, all right? Everybody, so they wrote was all sweet. Ask them about the L. So I'm going to tell you my first L. I started a Walmart store. I went ahead, took business funding, set up a Walmart store, about $15,000, had some tax money. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start this online joint, super excited. Got into it, didn't fully understand the business, had somebody else running it because I wanted an automated thing. Oh, I want to automate, not passive. And I got stuck. I got burnt for $15K. Now, I took an L. Now, the business, it was making money, but Walmart shut my store down in like 4 or 5 months. I didn't know how to get it back up because I wasn't running that business. So that was my first lesson, because I don't really call losses a loss. It's my first lesson. So now I always want to know my business before I automate and pass it out. So now I switched that up now. So I'm in trucking.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't?
No.
Yeah.
So you're in trucking now too?
I'm in trucking.
So talk about that then.
I don't have a truck.
I know, but I'm saying, like, what do you do as far as that goes?
I rent out the trailers. I like business where it's not too much paperwork.
Yeah.
I'll put it like that. So the front of the truck is a lot of paperwork. You got drivers. You got to have
insurance, all of
that stuff. I don't have to have none of that when I rent trailers. So that's one of my businesses. But I learned that business before I got into that business. I got with somebody who does that. And I learned how it runs. So if I had to go sell my equipment right now, I could get out of my business and still be up. Mm-hmm. If I need to go get some more, I can go get some more myself. If I need to run it myself, I can figure out how to run it myself because I understood the business before I jumped into it. Now, that's like my passive baby. Mm-hmm. I'm in real estate.
So let's talk about like what you do in real estate.
So I'm passive in real estate. I help people get money. So every time I help you get money, put me in on the deal.
Oh, okay. I love that.
Put me in on the deal. So I have an apartment complex out in Columbia. It's 48 units. I'm passive in that too, but I got OPM with that. Like none of these deals did I start with any cash that I had invested. Everything was, all right, let me leverage my credit, get the funds, and now I'm using my credit to grow wealth because now that's cash flow.
What kind of advice do you have for someone who has bad credit?
My advice is gonna be real. Fix your credit, get better behaviors.
Okay, and then when you say fix your credit, do you mean like pay them off or
So certain things you can't pay off. Like certain collections, if you pay it, it'll just update to a paid collection and it'll still stay on your credit report. I never advise for people to actually pay collections because of just legalities and how collections come apart. But if you do choose to pay for it, make sure that you get a deletion letter. Call it pay per delete. So if I pay you, you delete this item and get that in writing. Don't trust nothing they say over the phone. Get it in writing, either emailed or mailed to your house. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I say pay a collection. Evictions, get them removed. Like you have to get these items removed and then you have to change your behaviors from now on. Mm-hmm. Because I could sit here and say like, oh yeah, things happen and I understand that. But we got to strategically set ourselves up that when things happen, it don't affect something that's going to take longer to pay off. Because now you got all these stuff in your report and you come to me like, hey, shit, I need help with my credit. And you want these stuff removed in 2 months. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do no fake police reports to help you remove this. I'm not doing nothing elite. People do crazy stuff. They want fast results. When it probably took you 7 years to jack your credit up. I'm not about to sit here and get it done in 3. I'm being very serious.
She said fake police report?
I'm so serious. You can look it up. You will never catch me doing anything illegal to help somebody because, one, I like Dove soap. I like 2-ply, 3-ply toilet paper. I have certain things that I like to enjoy in my life. I don't like sitting in coach. Like, I like certain things, and I'm not going to jeopardize my comfort for nothing.
Yeah, to help other people.
No.
Yeah.
Not doing that.
So speaking of sitting in coach, what kind of things do you do as far as the travel side goes? I know that we talked about that a little bit.
Oh, see, that's the fun part of credit.
Okay.
That's the fun part. People don't really get like, all right, business credit is cool. You leveraging and everything. Like running a business is fun. It's stressful, but it's still fun. You enjoy yourself. But I don't like to pay for my leisure activities. Mm-hmm. I'm always going to find OPM. Okay. It could be OPP, other people's points too.
Ooh.
Ooh, I just came up with that just now.
I was gonna say, wait, can we run that back?
I've never said that on camera before. But yeah, I've always figured it out. And the crazy part is I actually started in the travel world in college. Well, you know college athletes, right?
Yeah.
When we fly, most big schools, they have private planes. Mm-hmm. Mid-majors, you fly commercial. So when you fly commercial, you have to buy my ticket. So every time the school would buy my ticket, I would attach my frequent flyer account to my ticket. Mm-hmm. And it would just, all the miles would go on my account. So when I graduated, I had status with American Airlines. So didn't realize that's why I kept getting upgraded every time I flew by myself or my parents. They'll buy my ticket and I'll be in first class and they'd be in the back.
Oh, damn.
You thought I was gonna switch with them? No.
Hello.
No, I wasn't switching with them. So I learned a little bit about it early. I didn't fully understand until I got my first credit card. Like, oh, this is that. And I look back, I had like over 200,000 points. Wow. Miles inside my AA account.
Okay, top 3 credit cards.
Top 3? Mm-hmm. Personal or business?
Both. 3 personal, 3 business.
All right, top 3 credit cards. Personal, the Bilt credit card, BILT, best card for renters. No annual fee. Second one, Chase Sapphire Preferred, especially when they have like the 80,000 sign-up bonus or if they have that 100,000. Beautiful card. And last one, Amex Gold.
Ooh, period.
Personal.
Yes.
That's on the personal side.
Business.
Business, top 3. So wait, you talking about benefits or like fees?
Mix.
All right, so I feel like every business owner should have a platinum card.
Amex.
Amex Platinum.
Period.
Amex Gold. And Chase Business Unlimited Inc.
Ooh, girl.
Now, if you're talking about like, that's like benefits,
Yeah.
perks for, if you're talking about
For
like
travel and all things.
leveraging like low interest,
Okay,
I'm gonna say go Navy Federal because Navy Federal has low interest business cards. They don't have 0 interest periods, but the interest itself be like below 12%. And typically credit cards don't have below, it'd be 22, 24%. That's where they make their money. So as far as like low interest for business, I will go Navy.
Nice. Yeah. I love me some Amex. Okay. Amex Platinum, Gold, all the things. Chase Sapphire. All, yes. Absolutely.
Period.
Yes.
I got one more for you. The Amex Blue Business Plus.
Ooh, I've never heard of that one.
That's one of my babies.
Why?
That's an everyday card. Mainly because, first of all, it starts you with 0 interest for 12 months. And you get 2 points per dollar on every spend.
Ooh,
So I'm all about the points, baby.
Yeah.
You need to translate.
Yeah.
OPP.
What are your goals as far as your entrepreneurial journey?
That's a deep question. You got me thinking deep today.
Yeah.
My goal is entrepreneurship. One is to impact as many people as I can because I know that this information has fully changed how I operate and how I live my life. Like even conversations I have with my family has changed everything once I started to diving deep into credit and leveraging business and actually operating the family as a business as well. So for me, it's all about impact. And I know like the blessings will flow back, but it's all about impact and how I can impact my friends, my family, my community. And as long as I'm doing that in a positive way, that's essentially my goal, especially my kids.
Yeah. I know that you come from like an island background. How has your foreign family been able to handle the fact that you're also an entrepreneur? Because I know when I got into, just switching over careers, they resented that. They didn't like the fact that I was going to be an entrepreneur and also had a degree in, in education, and they looked down on that. So what about you? How was your experience?
Same thing. I have some family members who embrace it. Like my mom fully embraced it. She's like, go do your thing.
Yes.
My dad is more safe job, security.
Yeah.
Like he's more like that. And I have a couple aunts like, oh, I'm like, I'm retiring soon. They're like, oh, no, you're gonna get your pension. I'm like, you mean prison? Prison and pension sound the same to me. I was like, auntie, I'm not doing that. But like, it's out of love because they care, but they just don't have that thrill for the risk. Like my uncle who owns his own trucking business and has owned it for over 30 years, he understands me because he's like, I have to be my own boss. I need to follow my own flow. And I'm not saying I want to be specifically my own boss, but I want the freedom of having options. And that's all I present to my students too. Like, just create options for yourself. My master's degree is not going anywhere. Like, it's just not going to get up and walk away. So if I need to go back or if I ever wanted to go back and work a job, I'm qualified.
Yeah.
I have all the paperwork you said I needed. Guess what? I did it. And that's what I told my dad. I said, everything you asked me to do, I did. To go to school, did it. Get good grades, done.
Yeah.
Get my bachelor's, done. Get my master's, done. What else you need from me? At this point, I can do whatever I want because I did everything you asked me to do.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, they could resent it all day, but I'm always a rebellious one. I'm always the one.
Nice.
In my family, in the schools, every environment. Like, the shit is crazy. Like, yes, I am. I'm gonna be that.
Do you feel like, being that you're a teacher and like also an entrepreneur, do you feel like there's certain skill sets that you have that has like translated into, just helped you grow as an entrepreneur a lot quicker? Absolutely.
So, I mean, and you could attest to this too,
yeah.
because they say my teaching style is different. People actually understand when I finish a lesson. And I teach adults the same way I teach kids. Because your learning style never changed. If you were a visual learner when you were a kid, you're a visual learner as an adult. If you're an auditory learner as a kid, you're an auditory learner as an adult. And I keep that. So when I'm setting up a lesson and teach a financial lesson, I'm setting up a lesson plan. I have a learning target. What are you going to learn when I'm done?
Yeah.
Not confusion. You have a specific thing that you now know. So now you can't sit back and say, oh, I never learned this and blame systems again, because we like to blame people. Oh, I didn't learn because it is. My mom didn't teach you. Your mom didn't know. Grandma never taught us. Grandma didn't know. I didn't learn it in school. School don't got it. So now you have a lesson and you can take action for yourself. And I teach that way. So now it's like, okay, you come in, you sit down with me. If I have a class, sometimes I do, credit classes or business classes, there's a learning target at the end. What you will learn today, these 3 things. So when you're done, guess what you know? These 3 things.
Yeah.
And now the ball is in your part, because once I started learning it, I started implementing and things started changing. Now you're learning it. Are you implementing? Are you executing?
Yeah.
Are you taking action?
So talk about like what you're going to be doing next. What's next for Shedah3?
So this year I'm working strategically on sharing my journey.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people think like, oh, I work a 9 to 5, I can't do this. I work a 9 to 5. I work with the kids that you want to send out. Mm-hmm. I got 70 of them. Oof. And I figured out how to do it. Mm-hmm. You can always achieve anything as long as you know you can. Anytime that you feel like you need a model, I'll be that model. So for me, it's like, all right, building out all my businesses, setting up things so that now everything is systemized, and being more efficient in aspects of everything, even my teaching. I've systemized some of my teaching.
That's great. You know, I've been able to do the same thing as far as that. I like set up my class like a semester in college, and like that's been able to see a lot of, you know, great results in my pod and with my students. So I love the fact that you're kind of doing the same thing and kind of teaching those adults, right?
Everybody's my kids.
Yeah.
I don't care what age you are.
I still call people my students. Okay. Being that you're on Landing the Deal podcast, I do come across a lot of entrepreneurs who don't essentially have the funds to pay for their entrepreneurial journey. What 3 things can they take away right now in order to fund that journey? So
first thing, you want to make sure that you have good credit, and your credit is structured properly. So you can't just have one credit card and think, oh, I'm about to go get a whole bunch of funding. That's like me giving a grown man 1 carrot and saying, yeah, eat, bro, you good. Like, you have to actually get somebody that's something filling, which is your credit report. So you need to make sure that your credit is structured properly. The next thing I would make sure is that you have an LLC set up. People set an idea and they don't start anything. Oh, I want to start a business. So start the paperwork.
Yeah.
The date you start the paperwork is the day your business is open. Now, when you think about it, maybe 10 months later, because we procrastinate. Y'all do, right? So y'all be procrastinating. Super shady. I'm super shady. Now you're 10 months in and your business is not looked at as brand new, but it's looked at as 10 years old, not 10 months old. So I would say just take action. So make sure, 1, that you have good credit. And if you don't, make sure that next thing, I'm gonna make sure that it's structured properly. And 3, set up your business. Like, just set up the paperwork, because that's the first step to actually getting business credit, is to have an actual business.
Yeah. Now, I know you're working on this blog. Can you talk about that? We want to hear.
So I'm calling it the classroom, right? Welcome to my classroom. And essentially the blog / podcast, you know, my journey as an entrepreneur is going to be on some of my students' journey as an entrepreneur. You're going to see a couple of them on there, and having some dope conversations, but also seeing the dope things that happen, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because I know we like, stuff looks pretty. Like, it look good. I'm happy to say I look like this when I wake up. I don't need too much. I don't do too much. I don't like too much. However, sometimes we think that, you know, things are always pretty. I like to show the ugly side, and I always like to ask the ugly questions, because I took my lessons, but I want you to know that you could take it too. You could go through this journey too and also have a good result. But there will be trials, there will be tribulations, but you'll have wins. It's like a game, you know? It's going to show a lot of stuff. Like, I got a lot of things I'm doing this year as far as getting in more into real estate, diving in even like how I'm going to be doing my classroom this year. You guys are going to see a lot of, like, you know, just the day-to-day, so that you know, like, all right, this is how things need to be set up. My systems, like, I revamped my whole system from the last time we was in Miami. Like, just getting everything in order, because when you have a good system, you can flow right. And for me, I work better in the system, so I had to create one for myself.
Yeah, I love the fact that you know, are taking action on making sure the systems are, you know, organized in the back end. And I say that because I see a lot of gurus come into the space, and all the shit that they preach, they don't have none of it. You know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that that's what your goals are, is to make sure that everything is tidied up on the back end before you start teaching others.
I don't call myself a guru. I'm an educator.
I'm an educator. Ooh, I love that.
I'm licensed.
Yeah.
So I could say
Period.
that.
I'm licensed too, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Okay. I love this. So I want to thank you so much, Shedah, for coming on to this podcast. Now, for those who are interested in learning more on Shedah3 and working with her, go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
So listen, you can find me on Instagram at SHEDAH3, or you can text 347-342-1451. 347-342-1451, and just text the word Derby, so I know where you came from, and we can go ahead and talk about helping you with your credit needs, business needs. And if you like to travel like me for free, talk about that too.
Yes. Now, I'm confident that with listening to this podcast today, you guys are also going to learn how to not only leverage your credit, get business funding, but also land the deal. See you on the next episode.